Hey everybody, Brad with Full Spectrum Survival. So the last video I did on liars in an SHTF situation drew a lot of positive feedback from within our community. I had a lot of emails and a lot of comments that said this was exactly what people needed to hear. Some even used the fact that they weren't alone in dealing with liars to get out of a bad relationship, which was just spiraling out of control. So I wanted to talk about the next step. You have liars and you have scammers. With the Hurricane Harvey catastrophe right now, we've seen scammers all over the place. You see them pop up on Craigslist, on Facebook, you see them on social media outlets, and you see them in the news. In some ways, organizations like the Red Cross and other not-profit organizations are scams in themselves. They're using a disaster and they're making money off of it. This is the same thing that's going to happen in a shit-hits-the-fan situation. We're going to see people take advantage of these disasters, and they're going to take advantage of these crisis events. But we have scammers here today. There are scammers everywhere in the world, many within our community here. You have them literally all over the place. So what do? How do you tell if it's a scam, and how do you get away from it? That's an interesting topic because a lot of times a person is a scammer because they've gotten away with it, and it has moved them forward throughout their lives, and so they keep pulling this scam over and over again. You're going to look for pleas that are misdirected. You're going to want to look for someone who appears to be helping others. There are so many things that can be said here. There are people who want to, help the drug addicts of the world. There's people who want to feed the homeless. There's people who want to reach out to certain groups who have had their own personal disasters, but they're not really doing it. That's not to say that there aren't organizations that aren't feeding the homeless. That's not to say that there's not organizations that aren't reaching out to people and helping them during a disaster. But if they're an organization or a person that wants to do that, they're going to be showing the fruit of their labor. They're going to show it on their own. They'll ask in front of the disaster itself, in front of the crisis, look at what I'm doing, and I could use your help too. That's a true person that is giving exactly what they say they are. Someone who gives all these blanket promises of, I want to feed the homeless, I want to clean up this place, I want to help in the disaster, clean up and recovery efforts. That's just them looking for your money. They want nothing more than your goods and your money. Please don't give in to that. On Facebook, I saw someone asking, we're giving a Hurricane Harvey relief effort and we need these list of items. Sure, they were items that could go well with disaster recovery efforts. Baby diapers, canned foods, dried goods, clothes, things like that. But when people started asking this person, how are you getting it there? Or can I come with you? Or how can I reach you and talk to you? They had no answer, and they just went away. That's a scammer. You want to look for people, especially during a shit-hits-the-fan situation, who are actually doing something, who are actually providing a fruit of their labor. Don't look to somebody who says, I can teach you all this, but can't do that shit themselves. That's a scammer. Because if you can do it, then you can teach somebody. If you can't do it, you can't teach anybody anything. That's just like somebody with a PhD, somebody who has went to school and has taken on a certain aspect of life, and they might know start to finish the textbook answers for certain things. And this even happens in the medical field. They'll know start to finish the textbook answers, but they don't know how to apply them. So somebody who gives you what sounds like good information, but doesn't provide a fruit of that labor, you're going to want to question that. You're going to want to give that a wide breath of caution. And you're going to want to dig deeper. That scammer and that liar are usually the same personality type. Sometimes even the same group, the same family, the same person. And you're going to want to dig deeper and make them provide a fruit of their labor. Make them provide something that they say they're doing, but they may not actually be doing. So guys, I hope this helps you. I hope that that if you want to give out, if you want to reach out to the people of Hurricane Harvey, if you want to help people during an SHTF situation, please, there are ways to help. Usually it's not an individual. Usually that individual has only themselves in mind. During a regional crisis event, something like Hurricane Harvey, there are groups that are actually helping. There's groups on YouTube that have gotten together and they drive their butts down there and they are providing help. Those are people who are actually doing it. If you suspect somebody of scamming, please look into it further. Look into it deeper. Ask them to provide a fruit of their labor. If they can't, cut ties with them completely. Don't let them get into your life, especially during a disaster, especially during a crisis, so that they could hamper it in any way. Because that scammer, that liar, will do nothing more than hamper your life. I hope this helps as many people as the liars video did. I hope that if some of you have scammers in your life, somebody who's always begging, and let me tell you something, this is something I forgot to talk about. A lot of times they're going to use religion, because that is another misdirection. So God told them to do this. Their faith told them to do this. And they're going to tell you all of these things that in your brain, yes, you know that that comes from another source. It might come from the Bible. It might be a common, pastor's decree. It might be any one of these things. That's just them misdirecting you again, because they're only looking out for themselves. So please, I hope that when you experience scammers, you're able to dig a little bit deeper and you're able to give them the boot where it hurts the most and get them out of your lives. From Kelly and I to you and yours, as always, stay safe and keep watch.